What's up, Closer Nation? They can kick me off of Facebook, but they can't kick. They can't. I think we got a little feedback in the headphones here, producer Robert. They can kick me off of Facebook, but they cannot kick me off of the internet. So here we go. Let me crank this over to the other side. Get to the edited version of what we're doing here, and we'll kick it off. See, the YouTube viewers, they get the raw version. Welcome to the Hardcore Closer podcast. I am your host, Ryan Stewman, founder of HardcoreCloser.com, and this podcast is all about helping you, the salesperson, close more deals. Doesn't matter if you're selling cars, homes, financial services, or even consulting, coaching, or any of that stuff. What matters is this podcast is dedicated to helping you, the salesperson, generate higher quality leads, increase your closing ratios, and I'll teach you throughout the course of these episodes how to charge premium fees for what it is that you sell so that you can get paid what you're worth. Welcome to episode 51. Man, I'm going to let you come and unmute you. I'm not going to let you come. Like, I'm not trying to get weird right off the bat on the show here, but like, I'm going to let you unmute yourself, Robert, because man, we are 1 week away from our 1 year anniversary. And I know you don't talk on here very much, but you remember about a year ago, and we'll get into this on the next episode more, but about a year ago, I had quit doing podcasts, and you actually closed me into doing podcasts, man. Do you want to tell everybody how you pulled that shit off? Well, I just realized that the people on YouTube can't hear you. You know what I mean? Like, that just dawned on me that like nobody on YouTube has a clue of what the hell we just went through. So, hey, you know what? If you want to find out what the hell he just said, here's what you got to do. You got to go to iTunes. You got to listen to it over there. And then you got to leave me a 5-star review, which is what's important. So we'll talk about that more next week, Robert, on the show. We'll do like a simultaneous hangout or whatever. Maybe we'll both do our year later thing. So appreciate you sharing that with everybody that was not on YouTube, which means you got to go to the podcast. Anyway, welcome to episode 51. And man, you know what? I can't believe it's almost been a year. And, I've been podcasting since 2011. I started doing it from my cell phone in the front seat of my Lincoln MKS, my 2011 MKS. And with Travis Plum, who's actually, I think he might be our top salesperson right now. Actually, he might be in the lead. If not, he's pretty damn close. And it's hard to beat Roxanne, though. It really is. But anyway, and I had given up and said, you know what? I have interviewed everybody that I wanted to interview. I had anybody that I wanted to talk to on my podcast. I had talked to, and the only person that I'm still missing getting in front of is Joe Rogan. If anybody out there has a connection, me and Joe, we should be getting high doing a podcast together. I got lots of interesting stories that I know his type of people will appreciate. I'm not over the top like some of the guests that he's had, but we'll have a hell of a time. We'll laugh a lot, and I think it would be a great 3 or 4 hour hangout. If any of you that's like my goal, is just to hang out with Joe on his podcast. I've been on 200 podcasts. I've been interviewed I don't know how many times. We've got our own podcast that gets tens of thousands of downloads daily or whatever it is. Man, I don't even know. It's an insane amount of business that we get, or insane amount of listens that we get. And I believe that I think that the one thing that I'm missing in the podcast world is Joe Rogan. So Joe, if you're out there, you're probably not listening, but or if anybody knows Joe, make them listen to this. Damn it, let's get on the show. I don't know Brazilian jiu-jitsu or any of that shit, but I am a funny motherfucker when I'm high. Anyway, so before we hop into the show, though, I have been doing these podcasts for a long time, and it's exciting to see that already a year has gone by here. So it's cool to see how we've grown too. For the first 6 months that I had my podcast from 2011, for the first 6 months on there, it was oh shit, don't read the review. Okay. See, this is our work of art today that we're fucking with, ladies and gentlemen. I thought that was the same review that was on there last week as well. Spit me another review over here, Robert. And okay, cool. He said there's another one on the way. See, this is what I was stalling for all along, but now that we've just let the cat out of the bag here, that's all good too. But anyway, in 2011, like my second podcast that I ever did for the Sales Finesse podcast had one listen last time I checked. And that was like a couple months ago, just one listen. And I'm pretty sure that was me calling in. And I didn't realize that I had it listed as private. So I had created literally 50, maybe 60 podcasts at this time, because I've been doing it for a little over a year. And I was like, they weren't getting any traction. And this is a good story for a lot of you. They weren't getting any traction. Nobody was listening. I would log into Blog Talk Radio. I would look at it and I would be like, somebody listen to my shit today. Fuck. Damn it, man. Am I a loser? Does nobody want to listen to me? Should I be even doing this? There's got to be something else, man. Surely I'm saying something. Surely I'm doing something right. And dude, I went through the same self-doubts that we all go through is what I'm getting at. And I started like thinking, okay, well, maybe I need to optimize this thing. Maybe I need to market it better. And I have been driving traffic on Facebook, but I had nowhere near. I mean, maybe I had 200 friends on Facebook, that kind of stuff, you know, nothing major like what we're working with now. Definitely no exposure. And I wasn't the social media marketing guru or anything like that. I was just a dude selling cars that had a podcast. And I realized one day as I was digging around in the Blog Talk Radio stuff, because I'm not a very tech savvy person at this point in my life, at that point in my life rather. And I realized that I had them all listed on private, and like I unprivated the things and like made them public, and all of a sudden a lot of people started listening to them, and it got really popular. I wouldn't say really quick because I put in over a year's work where it wasn't popular at all. And the lesson behind that is most of the things aren't going to work how you want them to in the beginning. There's going to be unsuspecting setbacks. There's going to be things that get in the way. There was times when I asked myself, should I quit? Should I even be making these podcasts? And the only reason that I continued making these podcasts, it was simple. It was because I had a voice in the back of my head saying, hey, you need to help people learn this stuff so that they can make money from it. Because it's not my goal to help you make more money. My goal is to help you make more money so that you can use that money as a mechanism to solve whatever problems you have in your life. That's why we do these podcasts. That's why I've been doing these podcasts since 2011. There's not too many people out there that have been doing podcasting for as long as I have. There's definitely not too many people out there that have done as many podcasts and been on as many podcasts as I have, other than like maybe the professional podcasting crew and all that stuff. So just something to consider. So let's see what we got here for reviews this week. Make sure you head over to the podcast app inside of iTunes. And with the podcast app, make sure you leave a review. It's not the easiest way to do things. It really isn't. You have to search THC, you have to search Hardcore Closer, find the podcast, go to the podcast page. In the middle of the page, there's the review button, and then you leave a review. Like my buddy Jason Salmons here. He says, 5 stars, sales guru. He left this on May 4, 2016. And I know it's Jason Salmons because I know I can see right there. It says Jay Salmons is the nickname, but for once I actually know who the person is. So it says content second to none, high energy, easy to grasp. I highly recommend. So thanks, Salmons. Salmons used to be my roommate, and he's on our sales team now. So great dude. 5 stars. That's what you need to do right before we jump into the episode real quick. Head over there, give me 5 stars, because my goal is to help 300 million people. Right? 300 million sales people. I'm creating charities. I'm creating foundations. I'm doing big things. I've got programs. I'm creating a record label. My goal is to a record label in the sense of a digital record label, not like for music, but for content creation. My goal is to help the sales community and give back and make a bigger impact than anybody else in the history of being in sales has ever done. And so in order to do that, I need your help. And one of the ways that you can help me is if you're watching this on YouTube, share it, like it, leave a comment so that people can engage on it. If you're listening on iTunes, or even if you're listening some way that you have access to iTunes, leave me a review, because that's going to help me move up through the ranks. It's going to give me exposure to more people. More people are going to hear about it. We're going to be able to help more people. So I don't sell anything on here. Nothing's for sale. I'm not on here trying to say, hey, if you want to buy this, then you can listen to the show. This is all free content for you guys. All I ask in return is that you leave me reviews and help me spread the word. That's not too much to ask, I don't believe, is it? All right, fuck it. Let's jump into the episode. 7 free and simple sales hacks to help you sell more. Now, look, I know that not all of us have a bunch of money. My ideal client is somebody who makes 6 figures or more a year in commissions. But we know that 6-figure earners are about 17% of the society here in America, and 7-figure earners are about 2% of the society here. I'm sorry, not even 2%. It is 0.2% because it is only 250,000 people that are earning over 7 figures a year in sales. And so the reason why I say that is, I understand that not a lot of us have a lot of money, and there's some simple things that you can do that are absolutely free. They don't cost you a dime. You don't have to go out. You don't even really have to go out of your way to do them. And what they'll do is they'll help you increase your closing ratios, right? And so like this last weekend, I was up in the mountains in Utah, and I'm actually headed back to the mountains again tomorrow for our tribe meetup. These are the guys that pay $2,500 a month for me to personally consult them and help them and utilize my team and everything else, kind of like you would retain an attorney. We're very selective of that group, and right now we don't have any openings, so don't even hit me up asking if you can join. You can't. So the thing is, we're going to meet with the tribe up here in Denver. But for last week, I was in the mountains as well, taking a spiritual journey, right? I'm just trying to be a little bit more enlightened, learn some meditation, take some natural medicine and stuff like that. And it was like a holistic event. I'm into stuff like that. I'm not only into just sales and marketing, dude. I want to be better in every area of my life. I am a complete failure. I know that I'm a complete failure. I've failed more times than the average idiot on this planet, right? I've failed more times than probably the person that's failed the most. I've failed in marriage. I've failed in business. I've failed in freedom. I've failed in life. I've failed as a kid. I've failed as a parent. And I'm willing to accept that I'm a failure, because failure teaches you experience. And because of those failures, I've gained an expertise that's allowed me to become better. But I also am trying to correct those failures along the way. So anyway, without getting, you're like, holy shit, it's a sales show, Tony Robbins. Calm the fuck down over there. But regardless, like, I'm coachable is what I'm getting at. So I'm on this retreat this weekend. And I learned a lot of things about your breath, about how you can control certain functions within your body that will give you the same endorphins and the same release as drugs. And I know some of you might be like, oh, fuck, here we go. He gets off the weed for one freaking week and he's over here talking a bunch of hokey shit. That's not the case. That's not what this is about either. But the reason why I say that is the things that I'm about to share with you in this show that's going to help you with your sales business are just natural things that happen that we forget about. We knew them as a kid. We knew them when we first got started in sales, but then we discredit them, because here's the thing about us. If you listen to this show, you have some level of intelligence. Like, this isn't a show for idiots, right? You're listening to this show, you're a smart person, you're probably a market leader, or you want to be a market leader, and you're doing your best to gain information to help you be better. And when you're smart, the biggest problem is when we're smart, we tend to discredit simple shit, but the simple shit is the most powerful shit on the planet. Think about it. Donald Trump, make America great again. 4 words that are very easy to understand. Barack Obama, hope and change. 3 words that are very easy to understand. And these guys are world leaders based on 3 and 4 word slogans, because it is very easy to understand. The problem is when we're smart, we think make America great again sounds dumb as hell, or hope and change. What kind of bullshit is that? Right? So we discredit the simplicity of things, but words are powerful, especially when they're simple. So the things that I'm going to give you today are going to be super simple. They're not going to cost you a dime, but I'm asking you not to discredit, because simplicity sells, complexity confuses, right? Hey, put that into a meme, Robert. That needs to be definitely a meme. Simplicity sells, complexity confuses. So let's talk about number 1 here. Change your ringtone. What? I know it sounds crazy. Change the ringtone on your phone. Right? Because here's the thing, music does things to the human mind. Music can alter your moods. When I was in deep meditation last week in the mountains, when I was in deep meditation, they were playing music that helped alter your mood with frequencies and everything else. You can hear a song and become sad. You can hear a song and be like, fuck yeah, let's go rage, bro. Like, you can just hear songs and like metal, right? Like, it's just like music does that to you. So what you need to do is you need to set like your favorite song, like that one song. Like, I know when Pantera Walk plays, like, nothing can fuck with me, right? Like, when Pantera Spark, man, it fucking, like, it's just like, I'm invincible when that song comes on. So when I was working the front lines in the loan business, every time my phone rang, it was because I knew that was like a theme song coming in, right? Same thing when our podcasts in the past, like, we had pick theme songs that when people listen to it, it energizes them up. You can do that right there on your phone. And think about this. What if your phone rang every time it was like, let's get ready to close? Dude, like, you would be like, oh, hell yeah, I'm about to freaking, it's about to be on as soon as I pick up, as soon as I get to my phone. The only problem is sometimes you'd be like, all right, let the phone play out. And then, okay, it's almost over. Hello, hey, it's Ryan Stewman, right? So, like, you're changing the ringtone, because it can alter your mood. You could be like, this is what could happen. right? The last person could have told you that you were a piece of shit salesperson. Don't ever fucking call him again. And that you hope you fucking died and your mom's a bitch and everything else. And you'd be like, damn it, I hate this job. But then when your favorite song starts playing again, you're like, I can't resist. It's like money's calling me, right? It's like, it's just like the little things matter so much. That's why I say don't knock the simplicity, but change your ringtone. Many times I'm around business people and salespeople, and they've got like the like that kind of ring, right? And sorry for the tone deaf people out there. You're probably like, oh Jesus, Ryan, don't do that again. But here's the thing, like that doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't. Like so, I don't use an alarm clock. But like if the alarm, and sometimes I should say this, in the afternoon, if I take a nap, I use an alarm clock, but I don't use one in the morning. But the alarm that I use is just like, it's just like some normal stuff. Well, Amy, she uses an alarm to wake up in the morning. And it's like this ambient music. And it's like, you're an amazing goddess. You belong in nothing but luxury and comfort. And it like wakes her up with this like ambient noise and stuff like that. And again, that's because the difference in music and sound, the same thing's happening. You're getting woke up, but she's waking up to some enlightened fucking craziness that's telling her how awesome it is. And I'm over here listening to something go, chop, chop, motherfucker, let's go. So just something to consider. Changing your ringtone can make all the difference in the world, you know, and you can change it often. If it's your new favorite song, if it's something that amps you up, then dude, change your ringtone again to that thing that keeps you put in that good mood. It's huge. Number 2, stand up to sell. Man, I need one of these stand up. I hate that I got to sit down. Y'all can see me on YouTube. I'm moving my chair all around and shit, fucking spinning around like a damn hot dog in a fucking 7-Eleven, right? Like man, I got a lot of energy. And I know that when you have energy and you're on the phone and you project energy, and like my favorite part, let me just say, I know I get skipping around, but my favorite part of selling cars wasn't sitting down at the desk and negotiating. I did exactly what all of my managers told me not to do, and I negotiated on the lot because I knew that if I was standing in front of them, then I could project my energy. They could see my enthusiasm. They could see my confidence in the product that they're buying and my belief that in standing by that they're making the right decision. And it was easy for them to understand. So it made the negotiations when we sat down at the desk a hell of a lot easier, if you dig what I'm saying. Standing up to sale is huge. When I was in the mortgage business, Pantera walk goes off. I'm throwing the chair back and I'm standing up and I'm walking back and forth. When I'm doing my motivational Monday sales calls with the tribe members, the thing that I'm doing is I'm standing up and walking. I'm not sitting here going, listen guys, this is how we have some high level stuff going on. Dude, I'm like full force pacing back and forth. By the time I'm done with the tribe call, I've put an hour worth of walking back and forth in. And that's what I'm doing is I'm selling these highly alpha, highly motivated salespeople into going above and beyond and motivating them. That's what I'm basically selling them on Monday. And you can't do that sitting down. You can't get somebody who's on the fence off the fence by sitting down. You got to stand up and pull them. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. Number 3, on the flip side, you got to sit down to listen. So look, when I'm out there and I'm selling the car on the lot, I'm selling the vehicle on the lot, or if I'm selling the mortgage from my office, I'm standing up. If I'm selling the home, right, I'm walking through the home, I'm standing up, I'm pointing, I'm showing energetic, I'm hugging shit, I'm having them touch things, I'm having them feel it, brace it, touch it, own it, get a sense of what it's like, everything else. Now, when it's time for them to talk, we're going to sit down. I want my message to be the the superior message. I want their message to be the inferior one, right? We stand up, we're standing up and I'm selling from my feet and they're having to sell from their seat. Cause like, I'm going to sit down and listen because that also like calms my energy down, right? Takes me from about a 10 to a 5. And it puts me in a place where I'm not exuding 10. I'm trying to receive 5. So I'm putting out 5 and receiving 5, which still equals 10. You figure what I'm saying from a number standpoint? So I'm sitting down to like take my energy levels down and then I'm receiving their words, okay? It's the same thing. It's like when I'm out there on the lot, I'm standing up in front of them. When I'm inside the house showing it as a realtor, I'm standing in front of them. But when it's their turn to talk, we're going to calm this whole situation down because I want them to know I'm more excited about their situation than me. Because if I'm the overconfident one, they'll buy my confidence faster than they'll buy my product. I shit you not. Number 4, use the phone's mute button. Oh yeah, so this is a huge one. I learned this from my homie, Kevin Nations. Kevin, I got to give you a shout out on this one. The mute button is fucking huge on a phone. So let's think about this, right? When you usually talk on the phone, you leave the mute button off. You got to be quiet. Can't make any noise. You got to listen. As soon as I'm on a sales call and they're talking, I just hit the mute button and I just sit the phone down and listen to them talk. They can't tell what I'm doing in the background. I can be sitting here going, fuck your excuses. That's some bullshit, you pussy, you loser. I'm going to change your life today, motherfucker. And they have no idea because the mute button's on. But it allows me to get those things off my fucking chest that I needed to say without them hearing me. That way, when it's time for them to get done, when they're done talking, it is time for me to show up. I've already got all those negative things that I need to say out of the way to where I can say, here's what I think your problem is and how I can help you. The mute button has changed my life. Plus, it's always a good idea to hit the mute button when you're listening to somebody anyway. You hit the mute button on your end, not on their end. You want to be able to hear what they're saying, but you hit the mute button so that if there's anything going on in the background or whatever, it's just, I've always been the person that if I'm not talking, my phone's on mute so that you can't hear what's going on in the background. I think that's just a good idea. Anyway, number 5, this is what I used to do in every business I've ever been in. I still do this today, is I send prospects a video before I call them. I want them to see my face. I want them to see my mannerisms. I want them to see how I am so that when they hear me in person and when they see me in person, then when I send them texts and emails, what happens is when they see the texts and emails, they read it as the guy they see in the videos. Because we don't always meet our people face to face. When I did mortgages in 2008, 9, 10, and 11, or 8, 9, and 10, I never met customers face to face. I did everything over the internet. So I would record a YouTube video and I would shoot it out to them. It's like, hey, it's still up on YouTube. You can go look at it. It's a long time ago, but it's like, hey, it's Ryan Stewman, TexasLending.com. I'm excited to do business with you here. I did the same thing in the car dealership. I teach my clients today to do the same thing. It's free. You can make a video from your phone. You don't have to have Spielberg come over your house and record you. You can make a video from your phone. You upload it directly to YouTube and you shoot them a video. What I do is I make a general video. It's like, hey, it's Ryan Stewman here, and I just want to thank you for coming on my website. I'm excited to meet you. I'm sure we can find exactly what you need here at my business. The next thing I need you to do is click the link below this video. This way I don't have to say, hey Jane, it's Ryan, right? I just left it very general so I can use the video over and over again, because what I want the video to do is I want the video to be an indoctrination sequence where they start to know me, like me, and trust me. Number 6, send a text message 5 minutes to calling a prospect. This will change your life. I looked it up. The numbers are still the same. I looked it up yesterday. 86% of all phone calls go unanswered. As of yesterday, the stats with AT&T, you can Google it. 86% of all phone calls go unanswered. 99% of texts get seen. 90% of texts get read. So you got a better damn shot of sending a text message first and saying, hey, it's Ryan. I know we have an appointment. I'm expecting to call you in about 5 minutes. Just wanted to give you the heads up. That has been the single biggest converting thing that I have done for phone sales in the last 3 years, is send a text first. And if they don't answer, I'm calling anyway. And if they don't answer within 2 minutes, I'm going to send them another text. Is that okay with you? I guess I should have asked. Here's what's really going on. Someone goes on the internet, they fill out a lead, they get a bunch of calls from a bunch of people that bought the lead that they filled out. And so they just don't answer their phone. After the first couple ring, they just kind of set the phone down and don't answer it. They're like, okay, that's a little overwhelming. That's not what I was expecting. Meanwhile, if you're the person that's like, hey, I bet you're getting a bunch of phone, you text them and you're like, hey, I bet you're getting a bunch of phone calls. And I know that can be frustrating. Never mind those other guys. If you need something, just hit me up right here through text and I'll answer anything you need. And if you'd like me to call you, that's fine too. That changes the game for things. Changes the game, right? Because if they don't want to call, if they don't want to talk, they can text. Oftentimes I can't talk right now. I can't be talking on the phone, but I can sure text while I'm reading this podcast, because you know what? I know how to do this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like I know how to do the podcast. I know how to text. That's something that I can do, but you can't do that during a phone call. But if you can multitask with text messaging, that's what I'm getting at. So last but not least, search for common Facebook connections. Here's why this is important. It's such a big sales hack. If you go and you look on their Facebook profile, even if you don't send them a friend request, we live in such an interconnected world. Chances are we have mutual connections. And so you can go see, you can see, oh, you know, my prospect Alex is friends with Robert. And so when I'm calling Robert, or even when I'm texting Robert, I'm going to say something to the line of like, hey, I see that we're both, you know, hey, it's Ryan Stewman. I know we have a call in 5 minutes. I looked at your Facebook profile, realized that we're both connected to Robert. That's exciting. I got some stories about him for when we get together and talk. Right? Because again, sales is all about bonding, trust, and familiarity. Okay, you've got to create that interest and desire. You got to build the bonding and trust, and ultimately familiarity is what we're looking for, because people buy from people they know, like, and trust. So if you know somebody that they know, that's a sign of familiarity. right? If you have a common person, hey, we're both friends with this person. Hey, we both go to this restaurant. Hey, we're both from this city. That's the common ground that you're looking for that creates familiarity. So going on social media and saying, oh, hey, we're both friends with Robert, or we're both friends with Brad, or hey, we both banged Angelina, whatever the case, right? Like, probably don't use that one, but you get what I'm saying. Like, that shows that familiarity. So let me give you a quick recap of all of them again. Number one, change your ringtone. Man, it's the little things that make the biggest difference. Number two, stand up when you sell. Number three, sit down when you're listening. Number four, use the mute button. Man, I'm telling you, if you will follow me on that and just try it, will change the game for you. Same with sending your prospect a video before you call them, right? Let them get indoctrinated. The familiarity is what sells. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. You want them to be familiar with you. And then number six, send a text message 5 minutes prior to calling a prospect. And in that text message, offer them the ability to just text back instead of hop on the phone. It might be easier for both of you at that point. Last but not least, look for common Facebook connections and use that to create that familiarity and that trust. Like, hey, we both know the same people. Hey, I've been somewhere that you've been and met somebody that you've met. Awesome, dude. We should be best friends. So, all right, make sure you go over to elevatortothetop.com. We've got less than 2,000 books left over there. You can get a free copy, right? Elevatortothetop.com. It's my best-selling sales book. And we got less than 2,000 copies, so you better hurry up and get them before we switch it up. And the sooner you guys buy these Elevator to the Top books, my next book is coming out, and we're going to have it actually be an audio book as well, and that's what we're going to give away. So we're pretty excited about that as well. So, hey, make sure you go over to hardcorecloser.com. You can check out all my blogs, everything else. Closerpodcast.com is where all the past podcasts that we've done here and everything else. Last but not least, make sure you signed up at Clyxo, CLYXO.com, and share this. We'll catch you next week. What?